Hey guys, it's Mr. Kirby here. I'm just recording a quick video for you guys before you get started today. All right. So, I wanted to just go back over a couple of quick things. And what I want to really stress for you, all right, is when you are adding, or subtracting fractions. There are two steps. All right, your first step. Make sure the denominators are the same. Remember, guys, that's the bottom number, all right, of the fraction. We'll go over that again here in a second. And then for the step number 2, you add or subtract the numerators, but the denominators stay the same. All right. So you're probably over here thinking to yourself, well, Mr. Kirby, what do you mean by that? All right. And it's kind of what we have been working on so far. So I'm going to go with a black pen here. And the denominator is the bottom number. All right. So let's just start with a number kind of like 1/4. All right. So if we have 1/4 and we're going to add it across with, let's say, 2/4. All right. Well, remember what I said. All right. We're going to add the numerators. And so when we do that, we're going to get 3. But the denominator stays the same. So we're going to have 4. All right. So this is going to be 3/4. All right. So 3/4 is what we get there, guys. And now let's go ahead. All right. So 3/4, that was really easy. All right. But Mr. Kirby, what about the numbers that are not the same on the bottom? So let's just go right back to it, guys. We've got 1/4, and let's just add. Let's go ahead and add 5/8. All right. So guys, your first step of what you're going to do, all right, you're going to look at the denominators here. All right. And when I look at the denominators, I'm going to think to myself, all right, which one is smaller? In this case, it's the 4. And I'm going to then try to see how I can make the smaller number into the bigger one. All right, in this case, 4, I know that if I multiply 4 times 2, I'm going to get 8. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. But remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you're also going to do to the top. All right, and so what we've got here now, all right, when we rewrite this, is we have 1 times 2, which is going to give us a 2, and we have 2 times 4, which is going to give us 8. All right, so we've got 2/8. Ooh, that is not a good 8. Plus 5/8. All right, and this one's going to be a little easier for us. All right, now we just go straight across. 7. Remember, the denominator stay the same. It's going to give us 7/8. All right, all right, all right. So nothing crazy, nothing that we haven't done. All right. Hopefully it's still kind of ringing a bell. And now let's do a quick subtraction. All right. So let's go ahead and just say we have like 14/16. And let's kill two birds with one stone here. And we're going to say that we're going to subtract 1/2. All right. Well, again, my very first step, I'm going to check out these denominators. They are not the same, all right? And I need to make them the same. So I'm going to think to myself, all right, what number can I multiply 2 by to get to 16? Hopefully with your guys' math fact knowledge, you're going to know that that number is 8. And remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we are going to need to do to the top. And our new fraction is going to be 8/16. So let's go ahead and rewrite that. And now, when we just do the thing that we do, all right, we're going to subtract the numerators, which is the top numbers. So 14 minus 8. All right, 14 minus 8, guys. 6/16, because the denominators stay the same. Guys, it's extremely important that what you do, all right, the denominator stays the same. I know it's very tempting to take 14/16 minus 1/2 and make it 13/14, but that is not correct. All right, you need to make sure the denominators are the same and then move on from there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our pages today. So we're going to do pages 103. We're going to do 107. We are also going to do 108. 109, 111, 112, 113, and then 114, which is this one right here. So let's just look at the very first few pages. All right, so adding and subtracting fractions. Nothing too crazy, guys. Make sure that you really read the description, which is right here, all right, because it's very important for you to figure this out, because you have a box of crowns and you have a box of markers, and you got questions that are going to be revolving around crowns and markers. So make sure that you read it carefully. And if we were to look at the first one, all right, it's very, very simple. All right, so Ariel used 5 crayons to make a thank you card. What fraction of the box did she use? So she used 5 out of the 8 crayons. All right. Ariel gave her brother 4 crayons. What fraction does she have left out of her box of 8? Well, she gave 4 out of 8. So we're going to need to subtract that from 8 out of 8. Because remember, 8 out of 8 is the whole box. All right, so when we subtract 4 from 8, we get 4. And when we subtract that, our denominator stays the same. So we have 4 of 8. Guys, this is very straightforward. All right, make sure that you use your knowledge that you have until now. The rest of the pages are going to be exactly like this. All right, make sure that you look at these examples. All right, these examples are awesome, and they're really, really, really not that bad. All right, if we were to look at this first one here, all right, so we've got 1/3 on this example is equal to 4/12. What they're saying is, guys, is that if we were to draw this and make it 12 individual boxes, all right, there's 4 out of 12, or 1/3. I would split these into 12ths anyway when you guys do this for your equivalent fractions. It's just so much easier to work with that. All right, and make sure too when you're comparing fractions that you do indeed make the denominators the same, because it's extremely hard to make a comparison when you don't know how much they are equal to when you go to each other. If we look at this one, all right, you're gonna have things like, if we look at B, C, D, F, all right, you're gonna notice that, well, I can't turn a 3 into a 4, all right? So in that case, guys, you are going to multiply the denominators with each other, all right? And so in order for this to work, I'm going to multiply 1/3. I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by 4. And I'm going to multiply 1/4 by 3. And I do that, guys, because when I multiply the fractions by the other denominator, I'm making them equal, because all that I'm doing is I'm turning this 3 into a 12 and I'm turning this 4 into a 12. And in order to do that, you have to multiply it by those numbers. So use that logic for these other questions when you are looking at it, right? So 4 and 6, you're going to multiply the 4 by the 6, you're going to multiply the 6 by the 4. If this one's too hard, guys, don't be afraid to skip it. It's okay. We will go back and look at it. Let's quickly go back to candy bars here. We had a whole note page on candy bars. All right. And for this page, it's the same exact process. We're giving out 3/4 of a candy bar for each student. All right. And then you guys are going to fill in a ratio table here. So for every one student, remember, they get 3/4 of a candy bar. And so essentially, guys, you're adding 3/4 every single time. I want you to try the challenge. Not really going to give you any hints on that one. I just want to see what you come up with. All right, back to this page. 108. So for 108, all right, you are looking at these. All right, let's look at this example. And so we have 1/2 of this, also 2/4 of it taken up. That's what this is saying. All right, so if we look at this one right here, I notice that I also have 1/4 or 2/8. All right, so make sure to use that in your head when you are going about it. And that, yeah, that's the best way for you to kind of think about it in that way. For the ones that are split up right here into 1/6, make sure that you split this into thirds, all right? And when you split one of these into thirds, it looks like a peace sign, all right? So if we look at the pieces there, this is 2/3, all right? So it'd be 2/3 and 4/6. Okay. We did examples in class earlier this week of us adding these circles together, and when we added the circles together, we also got mixed numbers. And so in this case, guys, we're going to look at the final product and come up with a mixed number. I highly recommend, all right, count these up. Look at which ones are completely full, which ones are part way. That's how you're going to get your answer. For number 3, all right, this is going to be a challenge, all right? I recommend that you use a scrap piece of paper and draw out circles or squares that represent them, all right? So you're going to have a few things to draw out to make this easier on you. If you're able to do the math in your head, awesome. If not, use the resources that are available. For 111, all right. This one is all about understanding fractions, okay? So you're going to basically be making drawings and answering the questions on the page. And there's really, that's really about it, all right? You're going to need to sketch most of these out. And I want you to do that because that's the best way to understand these questions. All right, moving on to 112. This is starting of our decimals. All right, so remember, tenths, which is right here, all right, which is these skinny guys. Remember that those were equal to 0.1, all right? So if I look at this box, if I look at A, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these guys. So my decimal, 0.6. All right, remember my units was 0.01. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 0.67. Guys, for the fraction, make this out of 100. All right, for every single one of them. So this is going to be 67 over 100. For the next one, all right, I have 1/10. So that means I have 1 there, and I have 2 units, which is going to be 0.12. Guys, make this 12 out of 100. All right. For these guys, when you get down here to C and D, these are going to be mixed numbers. All right. They're going to be mixed numbers because you have full mats there. All right. And remember, full mats are just equal to 1. So keep that in mind. All right. Base 10 pieces and number 2. Guys, that's talking about the strips, mats, and units. All right. Look back at your notes. If you were not here yesterday, ask a neighbor for those notes and copy those down because we went over this in those. All right. And then for your final page, 114. This is going to be sketching this out. All right. So remember, when you are sketching out base 10 pieces for A, you should have 3 mats. You should have 1 strip. And then you should have 8 units. All right. Use that understanding to answer B here, all right? And I want to see you draw these out. I know it's a lot of drawing, but it's important that you do it. All right. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. I don't want you to do number 4 or number 5. All right, guys, that is it for